Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. For today's Scribble I wanted to use one of the other Opus 88 fountain pens that I have in my collection. One of them, the Coloro, I believe I already had a look at it last year I believe, and this year is the Demonstrator's turn. From both of them, personally I like the Demonstrator a little bit more than the Coloro. Not that it's anything wrong with the Coloro, it's just that the size, weight and girth on the Demonstrator suits me a little bit better. Just like the Coloro, this fountain pen is what I would call a Japanese bulk filler type fountain pen. It's basically an eyedropper with a lot of ink capacity, more so than the Coloro, but also has a plunger that can be used to regulate or even completely stop the flow of the ink. A perfect combo for those of you who love eyedropper fountain pens but also like to travel with them. One thing you always need to remember though is to open the plunge a little bit when writing with it so you don't starve the feed from ink. When I received the fountain pen I had to add silicone grease to all of the rubber and threads. Unfortunately Opus 88 doesn't seem to believe in the use of silicone or they just cut costs and do not include it. Makes the operation of the fountain pen much harder and not very healthy for the O-rings and threads. As I was removing parts to get them lubricated, I always had a feeling that something might break if I force it too much. One feature that I like about the specific fountain pen is that the clip is removable, which I do, and there is no visible gaps or slits once you do that. Makes the fountain pen look a little bit cleaner and simpler design-wise in my opinion. Personally, I do like fountain pens without clips, at least most of them. The other beautiful part of this fountain pen is that it comes in translucent colors that allows you to easily see the ink levels. Speaking of ink levels, let me fill it up now and do a quick writing sample with it before diving into the Scribble for today. The ink that I'm using today is one of the inks that I got from AliExpress and came in a 500ml bottle. This is also one of the inks that I am offered as a free sample when you purchase one of my bespoke fountain pens. This is actually one of my favorite inks that I have and it looks a lot like a mossy green to me. And it shades in very interesting colors, especially when you add water to the mix. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you have seen me using it a couple of times now. Filling the fountain pen is pretty straightforward. Remove section, open the knob plunger, and then using the pipette pour ink in until you almost reach the threads and then, well, reassemble. I had no issues or hassles during the fill up. One thing you do need to remember is to leave the knob open and then leave the pen nib down for 2-3 minutes until ink starts to flow in the section and feed. Depending on the ink that you are using, waiting times might be lower or higher. Now on the writing part, the nib, as I have received it with the fountain pen, had some issues from the beginning and actually back then I ended up replacing it with a different Jowo nib that I had. The problem is that for whatever reasons the nib seems to work okay, but after a while it starts to starve of ink and stops writing. I have to shake it a couple of times until it starts to write again. I did wash it quite a couple of times but still no success. The only way I solved the issue is by actually replacing the entire nib unit with something else. So for the writing portion I did use the old nib to show the issue that I had and then move back to the nib unit that I am actually using with this fountain pen. Which is slightly odd and annoying. Usually the elastic nibs from Jowo do tend to work quite well, but this one for whatever reason just refuses to work. I did not spend too much time on it since I just replaced it and I kind of forgot about it afterwards. By the way, regarding the elastic nibs, one thing to consider though is that while there is a little bit of bounce and flex that you can get out of them, keep in mind though that these are not actual flex nib, even though a lot of pen companies for whatever reasons do advertise it as such. Don't be fooled by that, and when using it try and don't press too hard on it. This nib can actually easily be bent if you overdo it. So all in all I was disappointed with the original nib it came with, but I got it working with a different nib unit coming from the same company, Jowo. So if you have similar issues, it's easy to replace, but at the same time I understand if you would be disappointed by it. Obviously your mileage might vary than mine though, you might not have the issues that I have. Before going into the drawing for today, I wanted to return a little bit of love to Terry from Drawings and Scribblings. A couple of weeks back for February and well, for the month of love, she did a couple of shoutouts towards channels like myself where we have under 1,000 subscribers. And channels that she's obviously subscribed to. And well, I just wanted to return the love, and I wanted to mention her name and her channel. And if you're interested in watching beautiful collection of fountain pens, Terry is definitely a person. I do love the collection she has, and the most thing that I like about watching her channel is, well, again, seeing her collection, but at the same time, also watching her write with both hands. She's ambidextrous as far as I understand, and she writes wonderfully with both hands, and I'm simply amazed by that. She does with both hands something that I can't do with one hand, writing beautifully. So Terry, thank you very much for the call out, and I do apologize if it took me a while to get back to you. Unfortunately, last week when I saw your video, my video was already uploaded and I couldn't, well, redo it. So thank you, and you're a wonderful person, and I really enjoy your channel. As mentioned, I did not have a lot of ideas on what I wanted to scribble today, so after staring a little bit out at that blank piece of paper and shivering in fear of it, I kind of decided to, well, shake myself a little bit and defaulted to my usual saving pot of gold, my pictures. And well, let myself inspire by another picture that I have taken at the beginning of the year of a dry leaf still hanging on a branch, on the branch that it grew. Speaking of pictures, I have been out taking a few more pictures, but did not record those ones. I might do a recording next time, maybe, or I might just do a quick video on the pictures that I have been taken if anyone is interested. I know this time I will keep it away from my normal pen review Scribble Saturday session and maybe just post it on a Sunday. Pictures are one of my primary sources of inspiration for me, so, well, they are kind of me, I guess. Anyway, moving away from the pictures for now, like I said, I let myself inspire by one of my pictures and try to transform it slightly into some sort of little creature hanging on a branch. I shall call it, I guess, a dragon leaf, only because I'm just bad at naming things, and well, I don't really know what it is in the end. It's just something that I enjoy doing, and I thought, while I was drawing it, I thought that maybe I lost it or maybe overdone it a little bit. Specifically overworked the eyes, but once I brought in the water and the brush in action, I think I might have saved it a little bit. And finally made those eyes pop a little bit. A little bit is what I was looking anyway, so I guess I kind of achieved my goal. But maybe I should have, I don't know, try something else. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about them, as you can hear from my voice, but I kind of also like them. Anyway, I think it kind of works overall, and how it flows with the whole drawing, even though it might not mean much for a lot of people. I mean, in the end, all in all, it's just not a simple scribble where I just let myself loose a little bit and just had fun with it. And in my opinion, it turned out okay. And I think the ink that I choose for today worked actually perfect for it as well. I mean, it is one of my favorite inks for a reason, so this ink for me would work pretty much any time of the day, I would say. If I would have to choose one ink for a year. I think this might be the ink. I think. At least now, in this moment, I think that might be the ink. Anyway, in the end, the drawing turned out simple, clean, and, well, I do love it, to be honest. As for the fountain pen, it worked perfectly fine without any issues. I had no problems focusing on what I was doing, and the fountain pen was not in the way at all. I really don't have much to say about it other than I enjoyed using it, and I always do enjoy using it. Personally, the only negative that I find, like the biggest negative, is that it has a lot of ink capacity. I love it for it, but I also hate it at the same time, because I like to basically go through fountain pens weekly, and unfortunately this will get me stuck with it for a while until I finish the ink inside of it. Well, I guess the other negative will also be that, the original nib it came with wasn't that good, and I did replace it. It was a little bit disappointing, to be honest, but fortunately, though, once I changed the nib unit, everything worked out as it should have. I am still puzzled as to why I have that issue with it. One thing that I noticed when I got it was that the tines were a little bit too spread apart. I did fix that, and I did clean it, like I mentioned multiple times, but the issue still persisted. One thing that I have not tried, I meant to do it, but I never got around to it, is to remove or replace the feed that it had. Maybe the feed is defective somehow, and one of the channels are not working properly and doesn't deliver ink, so as such the ink doesn't pass through it properly to the nib. Or maybe it's the nib, because I noticed that the nibs are stamped Opus 88, so I assume Opus 88 does the stamping after they receive the nibs, and maybe somehow they bent a portion of the nib that now doesn't contact the feed properly. Again, I did not spend too much time on it, I just replaced the nib unit and I called it quits, but maybe I should investigate a little bit more. I truly hope this is only an issue that I had and no one else will have to go through the same experience, because with that aside, I do like the fountain pen, and the only thing that let it down for me originally was the nib. So I don't want to scare people away from it because of that, but at the same time I just wanted to be transparent about it. Anyway, long story short is, now everything is fine with the fountain pen and I love it. So basically, in the end, as a conclusion, the pen worked wonderfully for me, and I find it very hard to dislike it. And as such, I really have no issues recommending it if you're interested in them. Other than that, not much else that I could say about it. And well, I guess that's my clue to stop my mumblings here, and I will let you enjoy the rest of the Scribble and the music. And as usual, comments, if you have them, leave them below, and I will do my best to reply to them as soon as I get the chance. I wish you all the best and a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.